Hello, and welcome to Wyverns and Weirdos, a D&D podcast set in the world of Fierlor. I'm your Dungeon Master Darby, and joining me as always are Laura, playing Bertie, Mitch, playing Kharas, Eddie, playing Anya, Jake, playing Neumann, Zoe, playing Ross, Johanna, playing Rook. Let's jump into it. So, where we last left off, the party did battle with the Archlich Taven Sirag, or the Dread Magister Taven Sirag, during which battle, Anya was taken out by a power word kill. After which, after the battle, she was revived after a brief period of time in Arborea, where she got to speak with her dear departed friend, Bryn. And lover. I got two versions of the background mixed up there. Apologies.
It was always the one version in the background. It was just whether or not it was revealed at this point in the podcast.
I will share you the document from our initial discussion.
Just because it's what you noted down does not mean it is what the intent was from the start, Darby. I made this character. I know what I prepped for.
True. Okay. So, Anya was brought back from the dead, stating that Bryn said hi. And that was where we left off. Sounds of battle fading in the background.
Anya, you're back. Thank you for coming back.
And she's just kind of like checking over Anya for damage and just like stroking her face.
Rook. And Anya just sort of stops her, like takes her hands, and she just holds them, and she's like, "I'm okay. I promise."
You mean it?
Of course. I knew it wouldn't be a long stay.
I'm glad. I wouldn't want to lose you.
You wouldn't. Ever. Doesn't matter what plane I am. She kind of turns sort of towards where the others are, and she's like, "You gave him hell?"
And then some.
Neumann will lift up the skull.
Neumann, never mind. Good job.
Just glad to have you back, I guess.
Well,
Have you considered possibly? I don't know. I believe there's ways that you can get like your fitness levels and such up as well, where you can take more of like a magical hit. Perhaps I believe there's certain diets you can take, certain exercises, yoga, if you'd like as well. Perhaps we can start like a training thing if you'd like, because I don't want this to ever happen again. And if I can do anything to help, please let me know.
oh, I have my fail-safes of, not dying. They come in very handy.
Is it us?
They just did. It's you.
Nah. Nah.
Don't you think I was worried?
Probably not, but we were worried.
I know.
But it's all over now, so I say we should just get out of here as soon as we can. If anyone needs help around, we'll help out. But I think we should go. I think we've done enough here. There's still a lot to do, but just not here.
We have a lot of paper trails to follow up. Kind of forgot that ending a war and defeating fascism came with a lot of paperwork, so...
There might be some other supporters out there too, but we got rid of the head honcho. Hopefully people can be more free.
Anya's just sort of quiet for a moment, and she looks like she's thinking after what Ross says in particular, but she then doesn't say anything.
Birdie lets out a really long, loud, sigh, like he's just remembered to breathe again, and realized that this is real. Anya's okay. We all made it. And he's just like, oh boy. Well, I sure am glad that this is, how it's all gone. So, as everyone said, he's still kind of tucked under where Kharas is, but it's kind of looking like he's consciously trying to give that sort of space, but he's steepling his fingers again. But he does look very relieved, if Anya could see it. He's like, it's done now, I guess. Beyond everything, we were here. We stopped it, and now. Oh yeah, I guess as Ross and Neumann would know, and y'all would know. I guess I don't know if things will be better right away, but we stopped a war. Hopefully, we should probably let all the people know, is so that Arathol doesn't send people out, because I'm pretty sure we're pretty close on the ticker. But yay! Killed a god last year, stopped a war this year. So, boy, I think next year I just want to rest. I don't know about all of you.
We won.
But yeah. Yeah.
One.
We won.
You won.
Neumann will initiate a group hug. Voluntary, of course, not mandatory, but he'll inch everyone in and he'll say, "We won. It's over. I hope."
It was really good until you said the last bit there, Neumann. I'm not. No. No. We won.
Exactly.
You look pretty dead to me.
You all deserve a rest.
I think we all deserve a drink.
The rest comes in many forms. And Anya, in this sort of group hug, she will sort of very subtly take one of Birdie's hands and pull it to her wrist, just so his fingers are sort of wrapped around where her tattoo is. Just a little reminder of a promise that she kept.
He pretty much when Anya takes his hand to do that, he pretty much instinctively moves his hand to that spot and then just squeezes at her wrist for like a lot longer than, and a lot more intensely, I think, than probably you would expect from how bouncy he is, I guess, with all of that. But yeah. It's yeah.
Anya expects it, but she doesn't say anything.
Yeah. And then, yeah. And we're at the Concord headquarters, aren't we? I think we teleported to.
Yes, we teleported into, I believe, Bertie or Anya's room in the Concord Tavern.
Yeah. And Bertie kind of looks like a bit expectantly like we've just had this moment, but is there noises outside? Well, this is the headquarters, probably one of the quietest places right now. But yeah. 'Cause war. Okay.
Yeah, what are we hearing, Darby?
I didn't know. Please.
Yeah. There are bits of battle still going on in the background, but it is significantly faded. It sounds like it is at a stage where it is pretty decisive. It's hard to tell for certain decisive in what way from where you are, but there are a lot less monstrous sounding cries and roars, suggesting that there is probably more success on your part, on the part of your allies.
And Bertie looks back again at Anya, who he remembers in the past has wanted to, when we've been in war before, has wanted to go out and help until the very last, sword has been drawn, the last arrow has been shot. But he also hesitates because he knows what this is like. But he doesn't know what Anya's feeling right now. And I guess I'd like to roll an insight check on Anya, please. Which is... just a 15.
It's 15. Okay.
Yeah.
Anya, she seems like she's not necessarily putting on a brave face, but is a lot more exhausted than she lets on. So she doesn't seem like putting on a brave face as far as hurt-wise goes or upset-wise, emotionally, more so the physical exhaustion of having just died. And in the resurrection form that we did, does that take her back to full hit points, or is that one of the ones that is just...
1 hit point.
Yeah. So she's like...
And...
pretty beat down, and it probably would seem like she... the look that she had when you last saw that instinct from her was from a place of desperation, and as exhausted as she looks, she does look at peace. So I guess you could probably tell that if you said to her there's more fighting to be done, she would do it, but that she is taking off the cues of the people around her.
that instead of what Buddy was thinking of saying, he instead relaxes the grip on her wrist. But Anya feels like a pulse of like that same energy she knows from him as he heals her for 27 points of healing with Cure Wounds, and then 30 points of healing, so 57 points altogether with Lay on Hands as well. As she just suddenly feels a surge of energy course back into her.
A bit more colour sort of returns to her face, you would notice.
And he slides his hand away, but she can still feel his presence.
Thank you, Bertie. And you'd hear that like in your head.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything, but she feels it.
She knows.
And then he like looks over. He's like, "We should get in touch with people. Ross, do you know anyone to get? You should know who to get in touch with to find out how things are going."
Yeah. Ross like wipes away the silent tears she has been shedding, and then it's like, yeah, promise Yadel, Drakar, they should be able to get in contact with most important people. Sam, it might be worth sending someone sending directly to the Erethold Council.
Certainly.
Anya?
Ravari. Rest.
Anya?
And Anya's going to attempt to send message to Athena. If she is around, if she would have been part of the fighting around somewhere.
I mean, you can attempt it. Whether or not you know whether or not she's here is a different matter entirely.
Yeah, she's going to attempt it. Like,
Yeah.
It's not anything for her to attempt it. She'd feel in her head whether it worked, though, or not.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yeah. Like, she's not within range of the spell to latch onto it.
Sending then. Got free charge on the earrings. So got the annoying 25 word limit.
So she uses
No.
a charge of sending.
Remember, the sending on the earrings is only within the group.
Okay. Yeah.
But Sam does have, Sam knows sending. If no one else knows sending, independent of the earrings, he is happy to pass on messages because he is familiar.
Arnie would know Sam has sending, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's used to the bunch.
Anya turns to Sam and she's like, Sam, can you get me in contact with Athena?
Sure. What would you like to speak with her about?
Just tell her it's done and to let them know. And
Will
that
do.
we'll deal with it tomorrow.
Of course.
She'll know what to do.
Ross is like, she like leans gently into Anya's shoulder. Still very close with everyone, so everyone would probably hear it. And she just goes like, now how do you know doing paperwork isn't me relaxing?
Oh, call it a hunch.
I don't know. I've done so many paperworks. Like at least 3. It's so soothing. Thank you. Anya.
And Anya sort of leans almost sort of in this condescending way that you've never seen her do before. She kind of leans down so her face is Ross's level. And she's like, You have just rid your nation of a fascist dictatorship. I think that if there was any time for song and dance, it would be tonight.
Is this you putting in a request?
Oh, by all means, whatever makes you happy, dear Ravari.
She starts crying again. But she's laughing. And she's just like, no. You always say that. Pick a song, Anya. It's on you tonight.
I'm not the theatrical type, you.
Oh, no.
You young ones with your music and your dancing. I just want something that will give you back your youth again.
Maybe a new one. And she kind of looks around at the group and she goes, I was never much of a songwriter, but I could improv something about the heroes of Kharas.
You go for it, Ross.
I'm not sure how many rhymes I can think of for Neumann. Apologies. It's a long name, honey. It's
all good. I get it. You can shorten it to Nooms if that helps at all.
Yes, rhyming words with neumes. Very.
Zooms?
So many more.
Dooms.
Looms.
Blooms.
Never mind, I'm not theatrical. That was meant to be. Okay.
She looks at Birdie and says, Blooms?
Yeah, I mean, it takes some workshopping for sure. Yeah.
Cat. No.
No, it's a bold offer.
Rook will kind of like turn to Anya and just like fish through her pack. And I think Rook's still kind of got like tears like on her face, kind of like lightly steaming. Very emotional. And she'll just get out a potion bottle. Just be like, and bump it into her hands. Be like, here, you're still not looking 100%.
I will, I would say it's not necessary, but I don't think you'd take that as an answer. And she takes the potion.
Excellent. I got 15 HP for it.
Oh.
Potion of greater healing. She just kind of has her hand
She's looking a lot better.
on Anya's back. Reassuring both of them.
Okay. So, eventually, it becomes abundantly clear that the city has been, in some way, retaken by the people of Kharas. It will take some rebuilding, and some restructuring, and some organization to get it back to any sort of proper independence. But for now, the people of Kharas are once again the commanders of their own fate, of their own land. And the rebuilding effort is going to be hard and long, but that is for the morning. For the evening, an improvised celebration take place with the people of Kharas, and particularly here the people of New Arcadia, going out to the streets for the first time in living memory for most to a city not under the power of ancient foreign mages. What folks like to do as this somewhat rough and tumble city erupts into celebration over the course of the evening.
I think Anya, for the most part of the evening, she's quite quiet, very pensive, and seems to be just taking sort of quiet moments here and there with people, not really saying anything, but just sort of absorbing the celebration and taking it all in. At different points in the night, or the people around her rather, will find themselves seated next to Anya, and they might notice just a touch to the wrist, or her knocking ankles together with them. She'll, depending on whether Neumann and Rivari are performing, she'll go up and try and do some form of trick shot with a coin, or some form of trick with a coin to I don't know, just add to the performance. But yeah, just at different moments she'll settle, and unless someone sort of asks her anything, she's not actively sort of participating in a conversation unless she's pulled into it. It doesn't seem like she would be averse to that, but she just is absorbing.
Jake, you muted yourself and then started talking.
Okay, so how many people are around?
Thousands.
Thousands. Excellent. Excellent. So, no, you guys guessed it. I'd like to roll for Conga, please.
Okay.
I would like to unite the people, one people, one line, around the whole city.
I'm trying to remember what I've gotten you to roll in the past, whether it has been persuasion or performance.
I'll spend an hour to make Conga tools and become proficient in them.
I don't think there are tools for Conga.
Pretty sure it's just the pole and you like some
That's
limbo as
limbo.
well, Mo. Yeah, no, I got mixed up there. Sorry,
Okay.
but yeah.
So, you can roll me a persuasion check. Let's
Persuasion.
see.
Uh-oh. Alright, let's have a look. I know it's not my best, so just waiting for D&D Beyond to behave. It's taking a very long time.
Persuasion is a plus
Could we argue that the joys of ending a war give Newman advantage?
1. Sure. I'll allow it.
Can he cast guidance on himself as well?
Yeah.
Excellent, that's nice. Oh my god, okay, I might just... Do I have physical dice around? This sucks. I do not. Okay, here we go. Persuasion, so... That's pretty good. So that's a 16. Alright, we'll go with the 16. Then we'll also add the D4. Which is the 4, so it's a dirty 20. For this conga line, as Neumann maybe goes around and maybe starts it off a little bit, but then he might, pick up some people on his shoulders as he does it as well, trying to get that real height advantage that people are seeing this conga line beginning, and he might organize some people to go out and scout for people to also do the conga line. So he'll find some trusted people amongst these party goers to go out and find their friends and spread word about the world's longest conga line is about to start, and for them to then spread the message as well and meet us at this very location.
So remind me of the total?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. So you don't get everyone in the city involved, but you get a lot of people involved for a 20. And like, it is enough that you, if you were so inclined, could leave the conga line and it would just keep going of its own momentum.
Oh. Newman might do that actually. So he'll put down the people on his shoulders, and he might climb up a building, just a small, or maybe like a stall or something, and he'll just watch people be happy, watch people kind of be free, watch people just have fun and kind of forget about everything. So yeah, he's probably just on top of a stall, I'd say. Some kind of street side stall, if there's such a thing in the city.
Okay.
But yeah, that's actually probably how he's going to be for most of the night.
Okay. Who's next?
At some point, when everyone is incredibly distracted, and having a wonderful time, after the conga, because Caius absolutely would have participated. Caius is going to just sort of wander along and find Rook. And I'm assuming there's a little bit of music that's playing, like some upbeat tunes. Excellent. Yeah, well, Caius is going to go up to Rook and be like, hi.
Oh, hello. What's up?
Oh, well, would you like to dance for a bit?
Yeah, sure. I was thinking of that myself. It's the night for it.
Well, yes, it is. There's a few people playing instruments that I can't identify just down the road. There's a few people back that way. I don't know what they're doing, but people are dancing. And I thought, well, if you would like to, yes. I'm not much of a dancer, though, so it will just sort of be a lot of this, I think. And he kind of waves his hands around in a non-committal fashion.
No, that's fine by me. I only know a couple of the traditional dances. Unless you want to do one of like the fighting dances or something. Might be more up your alley, but it doesn't quite fit the mood.
Kai's definitely gets mildly distracted by that, thinking about that concept. Not at the moment. Maybe later. That would be, yes. Right, and he'll sort of...
Teach us some time.
He'll kind of toddle off towards a musician who's... sort of a solo musician who's kind of playing, and he's got a couple of people around. And Kais will just kind of like vibe for a bit, just enjoying the music in a not like a any way aside from like clumsy, I think would be the accurate term, but he's having a wonderful time. And after a couple of minutes, maybe a little bit of conversation, Caius is just going to sort of break off a little bit, sort of move towards the edge of the crowd with Rook, and still kind of bouncing a little bit to the music. Just be like, how are you doing?
That is a question. I mean, it's a lot, but it's the time to celebrate now, right? I mean, all these people are free, or they will be.
Yes, well, that is very good. I just want you to know that well, you're not alone. I know that watching someone that you care about go can be very hard and challenging and isolating. But I just want you to know that well, you're not alone. You've got a lot of people that really care about you, and Anya's here and she cares about you, and we all care about you, and
tears kind of spring into Rook's eyes once again, and she grabs him in a big hug. Thank you, guys. It's so much, Just so much happening. It's hard to know how to feel, especially since she ended up okay in the end. But thank you, Cass. You're a good friend.
Thank you. Anyway, you got very beat up in that fight. Are you okay? Do you need some medical attention, or are you?
I've danced through and worse, but if you're offering, that would be nice.
Well, I mean, I saw you were taking a lot of hits like a champ. Bertie and I were just kind of soaring around. We weren't really, nothing was really hitting us because they were very short and we were quite high up.
Yeah, that was a good strategy.
You just kind of jumped on in there and took a lot of it. So well done, I guess. Did well. Oh yes, right. Healing. And he's going to reach out and put his hands on both of Rook's shoulders, and he kind of closes his eyes and concentrates, and there's a pulse of energy that keeps pulsing and it keeps going through, and there's this warm energy at it. And because Kharas is not used to his full potential, he doesn't understand what limits are, so you heal 100 hit points as he uses his lay on hands,
which, if I'm not mistaken, means you are down 1 hit point.
Oh no, I'm down.
Unless I'm
30 hit points.
30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn. Whew.
I must have missed something during the combat then.
Damn. Thanks, man. You're good at that. That's healed right up.
Apparently I am. Still getting used to everything, really. But yes, I just want to make sure that you're okay. Obviously that it heals everything on the outside, but doesn't really do much for the inside. That sort of takes a bit of time. But I hope that given time, we can all help you heal on the inside as well.
Thank you. Those are wise words. It's a big truth. I'm not sure if that bastard being gone is gonna help with everything, but hey, what I hear, you've been through a lot too. Okay, so maybe like a little fist bump on the chest. Maybe we'll heal through this together.
I think that would be a very good idea. Anyway, how about this music, right?
You want me to take you through a few dances, or did you want to head off to your boy?
You know what? Let's dance.
Yeah, sure thing. All right. You got this. I'll pop away.
Right.
Anya, noticing them dancing, doesn't say a thing, but does nudge Bertie a little bit until Bertie also notices them dancing.
Bertie's probably just been sitting with Anya for a bit. Probably has gotten her 3 drinks already. Looks over, is like, oh no, your girl's gonna steal my boy. You better watch out.
Yes, I am sure that is very likely scenario.
Yeah, no. Don't worry, I'm very chill about this. I'm very confident about this. No, it's good. It's good to see
Bertie,
people.
like he'll have eyes for anyone but you.
oh man, shucks on ya. He's like flushes blue, flushes pink. He's like, actually, will you be okay? I'll be back soon. Well, if you need space too, of course, let me know. I'll get you another drink when I come back as well. I just gotta grab a bit of space for myself, I guess, for a moment. If that's all right.
I'm here if you need me.
Yeah, no problems. Plus, I've got the earrings on still, so if you need me, let me know. And if you want me to get someone else to hang with you, let me know too. I'll be back soon. And they're dancing, so you know. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's okay. And if you want to talk about it, let me know. We live a long time, so it can be whenever.
Go. Later.
Yeah, later. Talk soon. And he's like, oh, well, they're not watching, watch out. And he kisses Anya on the cheek. And then he slips off.
She giggles. Yeah, she giggles and she just sort of sits back in her chair and keeps drinking away, just listening to the sounds of the revelry.
Excellent. And Bertie kind of like sneaks off for a bit and sort of just like finds a space. It's pretty loud because this is a whole like city country celebrating. But Bertie kind of tries to find a place for himself down an alleyway, somewhere quieter. He slinks away to somewhere where there's, I presume, dirt. I'm picturing these streets are cobbled. Because that's just how my brain paints it. But imagine there's a fair amount of like areas where there's sand or silt or whatever. And he finds a place there, and he kind of just sort of like takes a couple of moments to just stands there where it's a little bit quiet. You can still hear the drum of the streets and the noises and everything like that. And he just stands there to sort of ground himself. And then he just takes another like breath in, like he did when he first whenever it was sort of trying to break the tension after Anya had revived. And he kneels down on the ground and he takes another breath and he reaches into his hip bag. He's still wearing most of his armor and things like that. He's changed things around, so he's had some time. He's started to pack things away, hoping that soon he might return back to Durham. But it doesn't have to be too soon. And he reaches into his bag and takes out a coin. And as he kneels down on the ground, he sort of catches the mechanism Newman built into his braces to spring forth the sharp, ink pen-looking contraption, which Bertie contemplates for a moment before pressing it into the dirt on the ground instead, tracing some kind of simple arcane sigil. And he takes some time with this, alone, contemplative, before he settles down and makes the 2-fingered shush symbol of a follower of Fethus. And he thinks, and he thinks, and he puts that coin down in front of him. And he says, too quiet to be heard above the noise of the celebrations in the streets, he says, Hey, old man. Old man? Ageless man. Fethus. I just wanted to say, well, I hope I did good. This should be the last of it. Now I'll do whatever you want. Try to be a proper follower now. Or figure out what that is anyway. But for the second chance, for making sure they're okay, that she's okay, that you let me find my way back to him, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And he says it over and over again, and he sheds some tears and tries to center himself again and just sits there for a moment longer. And eventually he'll rejoin the party. But this moment...
As you're sitting in it, you feel a warmth radiating from the shadows surrounding you. You heal 4 hit points.
Oh, damn. Oh, which I believe brings me up to full again. Oh no, not perfectly, but it's pretty good. But he just feels those shadows rest around him for a moment. And he feels comfortable in them for once. And that's what he does for a while.
I feel like at some point, as often happens when we make world-altering decisions, Ross has been playing a lot of instruments and singing a lot of songs for the past hour and a half. Even though she knows this isn't a new real tavern, she's wherever we are in the conga line, wherever we are in the city, she is tipping everyone a platinum each. For every staff member, she is spending a lot of money in this city, even though I can only assume no one is actually paying attention to the economy at this particular moment in history. And at some point, I think she'll probably she's been dragging Sam along with her unless he wanted to break off at any point. And at some point, it just kind of stops, and she's just been crying and laughing and singing, and she just looks so exhausted, and she just kind of stops the both of them and leans them both against the wall and then just rests her head on his shoulder. And she goes, does it feel real to you yet?
Not entirely. It, I'm sure it will in time, though. How about you?
We did it.
We did it.
And there's so much to do and so much we haven't done, but we can. But we did it.
We did it.
And she's been holding Sam's hand this whole time, but she really laces their fingers together. And she says, what were your parents' names?
Sarah and Cordelia.
And Ross kind of brings up his hand to her mouth, and she kisses the back of his palm. And she looks up at the sky. And she says, Jasara and Cordelia, your boy did it. Thank you. Now you don't have to be a weird reclusive spy anymore, sweetheart.
That is an incredible relief.
Yeah. It'll be good to have you back.
Will be.
Properly this time. I can't wait to see what life's like when it's normal.
I'm sure we'll have plenty of life in this normalcy.
Well, I don't know. We're still friends with Neumann. We're still housemates with Neumann.
Relative
Neumann potentially
normalcy.
won't let you move in. True, but he makes life easier. Has he told you about the little robot he built that cleans the floors?
No.
He taped a knife to it one time.
Why does that not surprise me?
Neumann likes to tape knives to things. I think he stole it from Anya when she visited.
That tracks.
Well, that's what you have to look forward to. And a whole lot more, but I know Newman's your favorite. You know, after Anya, of course, which you won't admit to me, but you know, I know.
Ross, you are my favorite. You always will
She
be.
looks as if she looks as if she's about to make like a real jokey little comment. She just kind of deflates a little bit. And she leans her head on his shoulder again. And just goes, yeah. Same to you, sweetheart. I love you.
I love you too.
And that's the end of that scene. Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Retroactively with Rook. Importantly, she would have kind of like kissed Anya goodbye and been like going off to look for Roya. Did she find her?
Roll me an investigation check.
That's just shit. That's a 6.
A 6.
She's lost in the Conga, man.
Yeah,
We'll never get her back.
You cannot find Roya.
Okay, so she's gonna keep looking through the crowds and then cast and then just stand up in a tall place, like getting like quite worried that Roya might have fallen, and just kind of fire off a burning hands and then just do a minor illusion that says Roya.
Okay.
Stressing.
Let me check on something. I still have those. I should still have. Yes, I do. Yeah. So you wait a moment, and you shape this flame into Roya's name. And you wait a moment, and another, till eventually a small fire spirit appears at your feet, runs up to you.
What? Hey there, little feller. Have you seen Roya?
And the fire spirit heads off as if to lead you somewhere.
Thank the ancestors. Okay. And she'll get down and scurry off after it.
And it's not long before the spirit leads you to Roya. A little beaten up, but mostly fine by the looks of things.
Roya, there you are. She kind of just like pats her down. Hey,
So,
you doing okay?
yeah. You doing okay?
Yeah. That's Taven's dad.
He is.
The ancestors took him out. Damn, though, I'm glad. I was worried when I couldn't find you there. How'd the fighting go on your end?
A little rough, but I imagine probably a bit easier than what you were dealing with.
I mean, thoughts can go bad no matter who's around.
True.
Those fire Genasi watch your back?
Oh yeah.
That's good, that's good. They're a good bunch.
Yeah.
Oh, come here, girl. And she opens her arms up for a hug.
And she,
Heartful expression.
yeah, she embraces you.
I'm glad you're doing okay.
I'm
How
glad.
people,
I'm glad too.
our people have been avenged now.
They have. They'll live on in us.
It will. I didn't think I'd live to see the day. I guess. Hey, we can work on our skills together. We can see if anyone else survived. We can see if we can recruit anyone. Hell, we'll find a way. We're gonna keep on living.
We'll find a way.
All right. Good to see you doing well. Okay. You want to come and check out the festivities?
Sure.
Sure. It's been a while since I've done any of our traditional dances or anything. Haven't had much of a cause, so yeah, might be nice. Can patch up your wounds as well.
Peace. Might be an idea.
Yeah, I'll take you to some of my friends. We've got some healers around.
I got a bit of that myself, but yeah, some extra might not help. That might not hurt.
Course. Yeah, no, they're good people. They'll look after you. And yeah, she takes her along, probably gets healing from Bertie if he's got the spell slots for it. And
He does.
Nice. They'll do some dancing with Kharas. And obviously, yeah, spending lots of time with Anya as well. I think eventually, if there's time for it, Rook would like to seek out Ross and Neumann. See if they can find them. And yes, Ross, Neumann, Sam, all the Kharasi folks. See if they can spend some time together.
Alright.
Maybe it's the night. Just later.
I will note you probably find Ross and Sam first, and then all of us would take a collective 10 minutes to remember to look up to try and spot Neumann.
We go on a bit of a hunt together.
Yeah. Forgetting the earrings entirely.
Yeah.
And then we go
yeah.
up to Neumann?
Good gesture, yeah.
Alright.
Oh, that's so high up.
He stretches out an arm to like help people up.
Boost you?
No. Ross reluctantly gets up there, hating heights the entire time. And then she sits in between like Sam and Newman and like just makes herself very held, I think is the phrase for it.
Yeah, Rook sit next to Newman as well.
So the people are happy.
Yeah.
They're loving it, actually. Been a while since I've seen a party here like this for quite some time, actually. Like, I've seen a party like this, just not here.
I don't remember the last time Kharas was this happy.
I never even looked into other parts of Kharas. I was just focused on my tribe. I missed the whole mess for so long. But I'm glad to see it come to the resolution and see that people are happy.
You didn't have to see this mess to know that it needed fixing.
Yeah.
You had your own vendetta. There's no guilt in not knowing what we were going through. For a long time, we barely knew what we were going through. It's how they got us.
Yeah, I mean, he came for us in the end, too.
And then we came for them.
That's right. They're gone now.
And we might not even have met if it wasn't for the wizards as well. But they kind of brought us together as under very terrible circumstances, but still.
Yeah, I don't want to give them credit for a good thing. You know?
No.
Absolutely.
No.
But also, all these people have come together as well.
That's
And they're happy. Did you ever think we'd do it? Not, did you have faith in the group? I mean, did you ever think we'd win? That Kharas would be this again?
It was the only option. It's something I was going to work towards 100%, so... yeah. I didn't really doubt it too much. I guess I had backup plans, but it was always going to happen.
It's not that I doubted it, it's that I couldn't imagine a before anymore. Couldn't imagine an after. And we have it now.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess I always thought even if we won, it would be bittersweet, it would be awful, it would be some wretched, vacuous removing of everything they did, and it will be, but I've never seen so many people dance.
And I have a feeling there's going to be so many more. I'll be sure of it.
Conga King?
Conga King.
Maybe that's
always
what I should
crap
write a
people.
song about.
I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but I think I may have given that title away.
Oh, to that
Yes.
man in Durham. You gave him the
Yes.
potion.
I gave him the potion, but did I give him the title?
You might have given him the title,
Oh,
Newman.
no.
Are you the Conga Duke now?
There can be multiple kings, I guess.
That's very true.
Maybe.
That doesn't matter. I don't really care about that right now.
So we got our home back.
Much. I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think that I'd be alive for a future. Thought I'd be taking him on alone and take him down with my last breath or something. It's good to have you all here, I mean, this is a fight for so many people. And the people won.
I always thought it was just Kharas out for itself. The underdogs. Erethold never really did anything to disprove that. Our friends did. I'm glad I had all of you, but I'm always going to be grateful to them.
That's true. They did so much.
They lost so much.
Yeah.
So what's next? Have you put any thought into it?
I am mostly trying to think of whether or not it's worth doing another song or if I'm going to destroy my vocal cords doing so.
I think
Tomorrow is
there would be a better
tomorrow is
time
tomorrow.
for a song.
Oh, any requests from the Conga King of Kharas?
I'm not too sure. I don't feel like it should be me choosing it. It should be what you feel is right now.
What feels right? Okay. And she closes her eyes, and she's holding Sam's hand in one hand, and she reaches across and holds Newman's in the other, and then kind of jokingly elbows Newman to hold Rook's as well. So we're all holding hands. And she starts to sing what Newman would recognize instantly, and what Sam and Rook have maybe heard occasionally, Sam more likely than Rook, is a lullaby that most Kharasi mothers would sing to their children or fathers or parents. They would sing to their children most nights, just a lullaby. And I'm Zoe. I'm very anxious about this. It's fine. No one look at me. No one perceive me. Okay. Through the forest, through the trees, the city sparkles in the light. Running through the empty streets, we sneak our way through the night. We always find our way back home to the beds we left behind. While our parents work and toil all day, we adventure in our minds. We never grow tired, we'll never sleep. Our bones, they never ache. For when the next adventure ends, we know that we'll awake. Our parents, they all guide us home, and the wild winds, they let us roam. And we watch the sun rise with delight in our eyes. And that's her little lullaby. Thank you. Good night.
Well done.
Thank you. I wrote that. When did I write that? Just after we fought Zath.
Oh, it's beautiful.
In December of 2020.
No,
There we go.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the little Kharasi lullaby. There we go. Bapsashadi specifically. And that's what
Little-
Ross sings.
Little out of pod insider for any of you listeners / watchers out there. I don't know about the rest of the cast, but that was the first time I heard that. So it's very
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
First time.
Good job.
You held on to it that long.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
I'm anxious. Anyway, that's what Ross does with her friends.
Beautiful imagery while they're sitting up there on the whatever the tall platform
Oh
you
my-
found.
A falafel
Yes.
stand.
Just kind of just all holding hands in a row.
Yeah.
Newman's going to like look underneath the stand to see if there's someone in the falafel stand. Is there someone there?
Yeah.
Do they know we're up here?
Also, how much are they crying after that song? Roll for tears, Darby. Roll a D100. How many tears?
There is a reasonable amount of tears. I will say I literally rolled 69 on the percentile.
Nice.
9 tears. Nice.
Nice.
Newman's going to order some falafels if he can, but like he's going to be doing it while still on top, so he's really ordering all this upside down.
Okay. Yeah, they're just given to you.
Newman will just give him the money anyways. Or give them the money. And Newman's going to smash that down, and then he's going to get his bag of holding out, and he's going to struggle to remove a flying carpet from inside of it.
Okay.
And he'll roll that out, say the magic word, and gesture for the others to come for a little night tour if they want.
Ooh.
Oh, more flying, Ross says as she gets on the carpet.
I'll keep it low to the ground.
Okay, looks interesting. Yeah, sure, I'll give it a try.
Sam hops on, taking a seat beside Ross.
And then, yeah, I guess we all fly off, falafel in hand, into the night. Following the conga line and I guess the lights of the city.
Waving to our friends as we pass over them with falafels.
I guess, yeah, also Newman did get falafels for them as well, so might just
You
quickly...
throw them from the carpet?
No, that's terrible.
Delivery.
That'd be a waste of a falafel.
Uber Eats, but it's carpet.
It's just you guys piffing falafels.
Just open your mouth, we'll drop the falafels down.
Ew!
Yeah. And Newman's just happy with his friends at the moment, so.
Okay. So, Bertie, Caius, Anya, what are the three of you doing at various points while that's going on?
Vibing. Kai's
Yeah,
just bouncing to music. He's having a wonderful time.
I think Anya, once Birdie sort of returns, she won't really say anything, but she will reach out and just hold his hand for a bit. And then after a while, also without saying anything, she'll sort of shove him in Caius's direction a little bit. And she's like,
Oh boy, getting handsy on you. Better watch out. Well, there's so many people watching.
we have plenty of time, and if you don't look out, someone might get handsy with him. A few of the townspeople are getting quite drunk, and
He is very attractive, that's fair. But regardless,
he does stand
yeah.
out in a crowd.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I'll see what I'll mosey on along and we'll see. Ha ha ha. You all good?
I wasn't joking, by the way. When I
About what? You're a bit of a jokester, aren't you? So it's difficult to tell.
I did see Bryn.
I was wondering. It was just, my God, for me. I was alone. But I was wondering if it wasn't the same for you. What was it like?
You're never alone, Bertie. Not even then. Not even there.
I know. I know that. Which feels good. Feels good not to be alone. Not anymore. But yeah. Hasbrin, did you talk? Or just say?
We talked. But we didn't need to.
Makes sense.
She would have liked you a lot.
Oh boy.
From the start too, which is more than we can say for each other, so.
Oh, well. She must have been a pretty forgiving person.
She liked having interesting people around her.
Ah, well.
Not people irredeemable, Bertie, but she saw people. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
know she would have loved you. Probably does. She's watching.
Well, I'm glad because, regardless, she's an important person in your life. And you're an important person in my life, so. I reckon she was probably she was pretty alright then, if that's the case.
I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how she would have or does feel. I love you.
I love you too. I mean it.
I do.
In a slightly different way to maybe someone else, but in a way that counts a lot. So.
Speaking of, I can hear two of the Mothers Club around that direction, whose kids were like ransacking the buffet. They are talking about potentially committing something of a crime on your boyfriend, so you should go.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. Okay, cool. All right,
Save him
yeah,
from
no,
that.
I'm gonna try and maneuver my way through this crowd now. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, fair. What direction are they in? What and whereabouts is areas? Okay, cool. Yes.
Just don't. They're harmless, but just be with him, Bertie.
Yeah.
You both deserve to relax and be with
Yeah.
each other.
I will. I know. If you need me, you let me know. Okay?
And you.
I will. And Bertie kind of like gives her hand a squeeze, and he'll slip out to try and get to Kharas at some point, depending on how easy that is to get to him.
Well, yes, no, you just eat a lot of protein, I guess, and lift a lot of heavy things. That's sort of what I do. I mean, a lot of people do it. It's not just me. Oh, Bert, hi!
Hi, Kharas! Hi, ladies! How y'all going?
Oh, I think we're doing fine. We were discussing how to look like this. I was just giving wonderful tips.
well, you really know a lot about that, so yeah, you know, best person to talk to, I guess.
Well, anyway, lovely talking to you all. Bye. And Kharas will sort of walk off with Bertie.
Fair. Well, how's everything been going? You've been enjoying the festivities?
Well, yes, I think so. I'm not entirely sure what that conversation was. They were very interested in working out, but then when I started talking about the dedication that it needed, they seemed like they weren't interested in that. But they still hung around, so I don't know what was happening there.
Well, you're very charismatic, honey, so you know it's understandable.
Maybe that's what it was. It was, yes, it must have been my fault. Anyway, how are you?
No, I'm fine. It's a lot of noise around here. It feels like every year we're doing a big war-ending festival or something, I guess. Boy, I tell you what, next year, I just want to rest. Maybe go to an uninterrupted ball without a shitty ex, and maybe even get to dance with the boy I like proper, you know. Just, something better, maybe. Something quieter. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, that would be very nice. Would be a nice change, I guess.
Yeah.
Although I think we promised ourselves that last year.
Yeah, no, that's true. I tell you what, like, you know, if the Knights of, like, call us to action again or something, of course I'll do it, but if it's, like, in a week, I'm gonna just be like, hey, take a rain check, pick someone else, you know? It's kind of my feeling. But, a quiet year would be nice. Plus, it's your birthday soon, too. How bad would it be if it went bad? And, like, we miss your birthday and Ross's birthday and all that, so, you know, it's, I don't know. Hopefully next year is a bit quieter.
Yeah, well...
It's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
I'm sure it will be. I hope it will be. I have no idea, actually. I don't know what the future holds.
No, well, true. Neither do I.
But hopefully, we've dealt with a lot of bad things, so there can't be that many more bad things in the world.
No, that's true. Hopefully.
We should, instead of being the knights who go and look for bad things, we should be knights who look for good things and make them better. Like, we go out and all we do is we just find parties that are maybe just a little bit boring, and then we spice it up a little bit. Maybe that can be our new role. We could be the knights of the 7 days of party.
I kind of like the sound of that. I just like breaks into a grin. Like, I think whatever comes from the future. I think I'm looking forward to it now, properly. So being with you is enough. And big nights at the 7 parties or something would be pretty good too.
we can workshop the name.
Oh yeah, that's it. We've got plenty of time for it.
That's true.
Oh, actually, and Bertie kind of reaches in, like, taps Kharas on the shoulder, and then like reaches into his hip bag, and after a few moments, he takes out something before sliding his hand to hold Kaius's, and he kind of twists his palm around and twines their fingers for a moment as he transfers 3 gold pieces to Kaius's hand, and then slides his hand out again. And then looks at Kharas, who probably looks mildly perplexed. And Bertie's like, I don't know if you remember, but about 8 minutes into meeting us for the first time, Neumann and I kind of asked you to be my bodyguard, and for some reason also decided to suggest you pay me for the pleasure of doing that. Not my idea, I will add. And then on the airship a couple of days later, you gave me 3 gold for starters. And well, I think you know why I gotta give that back to you. Finally. you've done that much more, and you never really needed to pay me for that in the first place. That was kind of a joke from the others, I think. Besides, you've given me so much more than 3 gold anyway. I can't be too greedy here. So, keep the change.
I actually want you to keep that. If you don't mind. I gave you that because I wanted to spend time with you and, well, everyone. I enjoyed having a bit of time with some friends. I know that I'm not very good at gift giving. So I want that to sort of be the first thing that I gave you. And it would be terrible if that was returned. That wouldn't go very well with my track record. But also it's sort of a well, yes. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I want you to keep it, to remember.
And Brady kind of, then I guess reaches his hand out and does the same thing that he did, where he, slides his hand into Caius's palm, and then twines their fingers together, and then just holds it very tightly. And he's like, I like that. I think that's a deal, actually. Thank you, bodyguard. He nudges him on the side.
I tried to do everything that I could. And I think I might have exceeded my role, overstepped my boundaries a little bit with the bodyguarding duties. So
Oh, well, I'm not complaining with that stuff, so that's okay. It's just this is just a different kind of working relationship we have now. You can overstep those boundaries anytime because they are consensual. Boy, I'm making this awkward. Well, at least the ladies have cleared off, so that's a bonus. I like it. I think it's good. I like what we have, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. And don't worry. I went off for a little bit, and there's sand everywhere, so we can take that home and we can have the little beach thing for Frank and Martha later on when we get back home. In the jar. Sand in a jar, like a beach, like we take Kharas to them. Oh boy. I'll think of some better presents later. But
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. Although Caius.
Yes.
I saw you dancing with a very attractive muscular lady before. With flaming hair. It's Rook.
Oh, right, yes. No, I did that. Yes.
That was awesome. Are you guys going, is it all good? She okay?
Yeah, I think she will be.
Good. Hopefully we all will be. And I just gotta say, I'm not jealous, but I think you're me dance now.
I think that's fair. Yes.
Excellent.
I don't know how, but I did just learn some pretty cool moves.
Oh, well then show me those cool moves, boy. I'd love to see him.
And Caius will attempt to do the same moves that Rook just taught Caius.
And Rook did roll a solid 10 for performance.
Oh,
So.
damn. Regardless of what Caius rolls, but he enjoys it, and he is both very happy and just very fond and having a good time.
Okay.
Anya is laughing delightedly at the very jealous conversation she is overhearing from some human ladies in their mid-40s. They're very upset.
Alright. Is there anything else that happens over the course of the night?
I just have like one line I want Rook to do.
Yeah?
After like having the nice old magic carpet ride, Rook will eventually like return to Anya, and if possible, she will have asked Neumann if she can temporarily take Taven's skull and pop it in a sack.
Neumann says you can have it.
Thank you. I'm gonna return it, but I got an idea. It's funny.
Okay.
So she's gonna make her way to Anya. She will get out one of her like non-magical axes, pop that over her back, get out get a sack, put the skull in it, a minor illusion, some blood on it, and then just sling it over her shoulder and walk up to Anya and be like, hey there, can I buy you a drink? I always have to have a drink after I'm finished a job.
Anya is like,
first time they met.
there's like a moment where she just sort of double takes. And then just sort of absorbs everything, and she's like, oh, I mean, of course, if you have to have a drink after a job, I will happily share with you. I'm sure it must be hard having to deal with nobles and the sort.
Oh, absolutely. They're a huge pain, you know. I've got to hold on to this one for a noble. Got to deliver. But I reckon I can stop and have a moment to have a drink with a beautiful lady.
Well, if you insist. Anya, sort of giggling, pulls Rook down to where she's sitting and just sort of holds her, like, she's sort of pulled her down with her arm, and then she sort of holds her chin. She's like, now, you wouldn't go buying a lady a drink without a kiss, would you?
That's a little forward, but I reckon I could do so for you. And she's just like chuckling, and then leans in for a kiss.
Yeah. And they have a nice little kiss.
Yeah. And then Rook will probably stay with Anya for the rest of the night. Probably end up retiring together.
Yeah. And Anya, once sort of Rook is there, she, even though she wasn't tense or anything, she had been quite sort of quiet and pensive, and she just sort of eases out of that. Not like all at once, but she, starts sort of leaning into the flow of the conversation and sort of being more sort of friendly and casual and comfortable within Rook's presence for the rest of the night.
Nice. Yeah, Rook will kind of just, having this casual conversation, but kind of like just give her hand a little gentle squeeze, trying to reassure her.
Yeah. And Anya does similar things, like just throughout, just like different touches and things to sort of reminders and to show her that she's there and that she's not going anywhere.
All right. Any other folks have things as the evening grows late?
I think Kharas is going to, towards the end of the night, he's sort of, since he returned to the group, he's sort of every now and then kind of looking over at Neumann and wanting to say something. And he's not really done anything because we've been mildly preoccupied. But he's going to sort of kind of sidle up to Newman. Be like, hello.
Up, guys. How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, I think.
You think?
Yes, I got elbowed a little bit in the conga line, but I think that was the whole point of it.
It's part of the conga line experience, yes.
Yes, so I'm just happy that I got to be part of it. That was very exciting. I was, you know how we're friends, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been to your house. We've been hanging out for a very long time, been helping each other out. I consider you a very close friend.
Well, yes, thank you. I consider you a very close friend as well. And well, I mean, you're a builder. You make things, you create things, and you, and everyone enjoys the things that you make. And it's very good that you make them, and they're useful and they're helpful, and they're always very exciting.
No one usually enjoys my meals except for me, but apart from that, I've got a pretty good track record.
Well, yes. I've made something as well. A little while ago, and I've not really shown anyone. But if it's okay, at some stage, I'd very much like to show you, because I want to share it with a close friend.
Yeah, sure. Have you got it on you now? Or is it not a now kind of thing?
Not exactly. Do you remember when we saved Durham a long time ago?
Yeah.
And we got given things. Or we got to ask for things, and things were sort of given to us. I got a thing, and I was working on a thing to go on the thing. And I wanted to show you at some stage, if that was okay.
Yeah, if you're ready, absolutely.
Well, I don't know if I'm ever ready, but well, you mentioned that you've been to my house. You haven't, but I would like you to. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love to have you over for tea or something. I've got milk, fruit juices. I'm sure we could sort something out if there's some other beverage of some description that you would like. And just sort of give you a bit of a tour, if you would like. If you're free, that is, if you're not busy.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna be free for a very long time now after this. And I really appreciate the hospitality. It sounds like it's gonna be an amazing time.
Well, I hope so. But yes, I just wanted to share that with you, because sharing is caring, as they say.
And caring is sharing.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, no, absolutely, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. Thank you for being a very good friend.
All good. It's on my CV.
I don't know what that is.
Out of character. I don't know what it stands for, but it's like a resume. But I don't know what CV is. It's probably something like curricula veritasum or something like that.
It's probably something in Latin.
Yeah.
Curriculum vitae.
Oh, I was close. Curriculum vitae, Newman says.
Bless you.
Newman lets out like a very loud laugh. And goes, yeah, no, absolutely. I really appreciate Kais, and maybe we can organize for you to spend a couple more nights at our house as well. I'm sure Ross wouldn't mind. I'm sure everyone else wouldn't mind either.
Oh, that would be lovely. I'd love to come around and say hi.
But yeah, excellent. Was that the thing? Hang on. Sorry, I was just double checking. Was that the thing? The house?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No, I got to. Yes, when we dealt with the angry slug man thing,
well acquainted.
Everyone got a thing, and my thing was a hill. I got a hill, and I built a house on it.
Nice. I got a door.
You got a door.
Yes.
Very exciting.
It's actually been invaluable, and I'm sure your heal is invaluable too. But yeah, how soon are we talking, guys?
Oh, well, I mean, we're not there at the moment. But I
believe we are about to go do a big travel. We have a lot of people to update.
Oh.
So, and we have multiple people with teleports, so maybe we can do this sooner rather than later.
Oh, well, we could, definitely sort something out when we've got a free moment.
Anyways,
yes.
I'm looking
we'll sort
to
something
it.
out.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being Newman.
It's all good. You've made so many sacrifices for us, and it's the least I can do.
Kais will clink drinks with Newman and take a sip and wipe away the milk moustache and go back to dancing.
I keep on forgetting. He just drinks milk.
It's good for the bones.
Is this why you didn't collapse into dust when you guys went flying into the lake?
Guaranteed.
Bertie and Ross, do either of you have any final moments for the evening?
I think at some point Ross just wants to get the whole party together and climb on top of the roof of the tavern, upon which we spent many a night, and have us all sit on the roof watching the revelry, just in silence, and just hold hands with those around her.
When Ross suggests going up to the roof, Anya, while does not have her contacts in, does not have sight, does give Ross a very direct, very pointed look. And does come up as well.
Yeah, but Ross just wants everyone to climb up on the roof and watch the celebration we made happen. And that's what she does. She wants to spend the rest of her night in the warm embrace of her friends.
And that is where we're going to leave it. On that beautiful note, the party watching the celebrations. And we'll come back next episode to see what the party do with their afters.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
Bless you, Jake.
Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
listening.
you for listening.
Bye.
All right.
And Joanna playing Fall.
Mm.
And Joanna playing Anya. Plot twist.
Whoa, yeah.
It's just reverse roles this episode for no reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Rook.
It's
I'll send you all of my notes.
taking the whole when two become one to its logical extreme.
Ah, the true garnet.
Mm.